Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
So, could you tell me, right, where we stopped in our previous session?
Today we have to start slide number 61, sir.
Okay. Did we calculate what do you call this? The compensation calculation on compensation?
Yes, sir, we did.
Okay, right. So we have to start. I mean, let me capture. So let me go through a little bit. It is about trade union law, right? Last time, at the last moment in our previous lecture, we discussed about, the basic, the trade union law in this country. Before we start to study the provisions of the trade union ordinance, I wanted to give you some background, national and international background, with regard to freedom of association. Trade union means always mainly the freedom of association. Okay. Before we discuss the provisions as stipulated in the trade union ordinance, I just wanted to give you, the overall picture. What are the international standards and what are the national standards? Okay. So with regard to international standards, we discuss Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, Article 23 talks about trade union rights or freedom of association. And the number 2, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, Article 22 talks about the freedom of association and, relating to trade union. And the next one is International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Right, ICESCR, Article 7 and 8 talks about the freedom of association. And then next, ILO Convention 87, right? Freedom of association. And the ILO Convention 98, right to organize and collectively bargain. All these conventions have been ratified or accepted by Sri Lanka. So therefore, we are, as a country, supposed to adhere or implement the provisions of these conventions that we have ratified or agreed in law and in practice. So, in order to implement the provisions of these international conventions, we need to have provisions in our law. And such provisions must be implemented. ICCPR, ILO conventions we discussed, right? And then starting from 61, right? So there is another, this is not that much important, but the Declaration of Philadelphia in 1994. We got the membership of the International Labour Conference, International Labour Organizations in 1994. Before that, in 1998, we got the membership, 1998, just after independence. And before that, 1944, right, at the ILO annual conference, 26th session of the ILO annual conference held in Philadelphia, United States of America, on 10th of May 1994, adopted this declaration. This declaration very clearly says that labor is not a commodity. Labor කියන්නේ භාණ්ඩයක් නෙමෙයි. භාණ්ඩයක වෙළඳපොලේ ඉල්ලුම සැපීම මිල තීරණය වෙන වගේ ශ්‍රමිකයෙකුගේ මිල තීරණය වෙන්න දැන් නරකයි, because it deals with human right, human being. Okay, there are many other things, but I'm not going into details. The This chapter 11 of this declaration says all human beings, irrespective of race, creed, or sex, have the right to pursue both their material well-being and their spiritual development in conditions of freedom and dignity, of economic security and equal opportunity. And then I would like to move to the ILO Convention 87. You don't need to, what do you call this, take notes in this regard, because in briefs, brief summary has already been given to you. The freedom of association and protection of the right to organize convention C87. We have ratified this convention. Sri Lanka. It says, Article 2 says, workers and employers. Sevakyo hamputu. Without distinction, kisidu bedekin toro whatsoever, shall have the right to establish. Eyalat aithiyak tiyenawa. Arambha karanna, establish karanna, and subject only to the rules of the organization concerned. Eyalage hadagattu rule ekak ඇතුලේ. To join organizations. වෘත්තීය සමිති වලට බැඳෙන්න. Of their own choosing. එයාලගේ කැමැත්තෙන්. Without previous authorization. කාගේවත් අවසරයකින් තොරව. නිදහසක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. That is what it says. Right. ILO's Convention 87. Okay. Take your note, right? Next, what is the last note that you have taken? What is the last note? Dinesh or Dilini?
Last note is as per the provisions of
Yes.
as per the provisions of ICESCR, right to form trade unions and join the trade unions, and also right to strike must be ensured.
ICESCR.
SCR.
ICESCR. Huh? Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. Next, ILO Convention 87, subtopic. ILO Convention number 87. ILO Convention number 87. Right, subtopic. And take your note. According to Article 2 of this convention, workers and employers without distinction. වේදයකින් වෙනස් කිරීමකින් තොරව වෙනසකින් තොරව distinction. Whatsoever. Shall have the right, shall have, තිබිය යුතුයි, shall have the right to establish and subject and subject only to the rules, only to the rules of the organization, of the organization concerned, සලකනු ලබන ආයතනය, organization concerned, comma, to join organizations, of their own choosing, without previous authorization, Again, ladies and gentlemen, the Article 3.1 of this convention says, workers and employers organizations shall have the right to draw up their constitution and rules, to elect their representatives in full freedom, to organize their administration and activities and programs, and to formulate their programs. And again, Article 3.2 of this convention that Sri Lanka have ratified says, the public authorities shall refrain from any interference. ආණ්ඩුවේ public authorities, රාජ්‍ය අධිකාරියක් කිසිම දෙයකට මැදිහත් වෙන්න බෑ මේ වගේ. Any interference which would restrict this right of impede the lawful exercise thereof. නීතිමය වශයෙන්, ඒ කියන්නේ නීතිමය වශයෙන් යාලා enjoy කරන, exercise කරන lawful right එකකට බලපෑමක් ඇති කරන්න බෑ. එතකොට, so we have to practice all these provisions because we have accepted this convention. Ratified means when it comes to labor law, it is like this, ladies and gentlemen, right? Ratification of convention means ILO convention. Now, I'm not talking about the human rights convention because I'm not that much, I know, but I'm very familiar and I know A to Z with regard to this ILO convention because I dealt with more than 10 years, right, with the ILO, right, in relation to the conventions that we have ratified. Ratification means ILO time to time at the International Labour Conference. Now it is going on. The labor authorities this time has not gone because of forex crisis, no foreign currency. Therefore, they are joining with right now through, online, through Zoom and other using other facilities. Some countries have already attended. It will go up to 16th of this month, 2 weeks. They are in Geneva, Switzerland. Time to time, the ILO at the international conference adopt conventions, recommendations, and protocol in order to enhance, in order to safeguard the rights of the working people. They discuss, excuse me, they discuss if it is, these are called instruments. Instruments means conventions, recommendations, and protocol. These are the instruments, international ILO's instruments. Having discussed 2 years continuously, consecutive 2 years, finally the text is submitted to the special meeting at the annual general conference. And the member countries vote in favor of convention or recommendation or protocol, or against convention, protocol, or whatever it is the standard. The member country has 4 votes. 4 votes, right? We call it titular or regular member and the deputy member. The government officials have, I mean the labor authority, they have 2 votes. Worker organization have 1 vote. Employee organization have 1 vote. Depending on the person who is going, who attending at the international, attending to the International Labour Conference. Government officers, 2 votes. The number 1 is for the secretary to the Ministry of Labour. Number 2, next vote is for the Commissioner General of Labour. Right. That is how, the votes are. So we vote in favor or against. So once it is, voted with the majority of votes, it is passed. It is adopted at the international conference. Once it is adopted, a country, member state, can look at this convention, and if there is some, the advantages of that convention, then we can go for ratification. Ratified means accepted. There is a procedure with regard to this ratification. Once the Labour Ministry has to prepare a concept paper and submit to the cabinet, asking, highlighting the positive points. If we want to ratify, a report has to be prepared, and the cabinet paper must be submitted to the ministers of cabinet of ministers by the Labour Ministry, asking the permission of the cabinet to ratify this convention. But we have to emphasize or justify why do we need to ratify this convention. So likewise, the cabinet paper is submitted. If cabinet decision is granted, then we go for the Honorable Attorney General to look into the constitutionality of the convention that we are trying to ratify. If Honorable Attorney General says there is no inconsistency in relation to constitution, then that is final. The Labour Ministry prepare, there is some structure, prepare and ask the foreign ministry secretary to prepare the instrument of stratification and submit to the ILO Director General through the permanent representative in Geneva. Once it is submitted, ILO issued a certificate. The original goes to the Labour Ministry and the copy is there with the Foreign Ministry. That is the procedure, right, of ratification. Then we say that we have ratified. Once we have ratified any convention, we are supposed to, the country as a country, we are obliged to fulfill what is there in the convention. Is it clear to you or not? Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Right. So we don't need to write, the all the ILO Convention 87. Right. Next subtopic, ILO Convention number 98. ILO Convention number 98. On number 98 on right to organize and collective bargaining. Right to organize and collective bargaining. ILO Convention number 98 on right to organize and collective bargaining. Okay. Take your note. According to this convention that Sri Lanka has ratified, according to this convention that Sri Lanka has ratified, within bracket, not within bracket, inverted comma.
Excuse me.
Inverted
sir,
comma.
repeat it.
Sorry?
According to this.
I can't hear you.
According to this convention,
According to this convention, then inverted comma, workers shall enjoy adequate protection, ප්‍රමාණවත් ආරක්ෂාවක්, adequate protection against එරෙහිව against acts acts ක්‍රියාකාරකම් of anti-union discrimination. Just 1 second, give me 1 minute. Anti-union discrimination. Sorry, right? I had to answer to a call, right? Sorry. So workers within inverted comma, workers shall enjoy adequate protection against acts of anti-union discrimination in respect of their employment. Close the inverted comma and full stop. Discrimination in respect of their employment. What does it mean? So, anti-union discrimination. What does it mean? This, the article 1.1. Say, for example, I am a worker. I work for a company X. While I'm working, I organize union activities. Say I'm a member of a union, an activist. But remember that during my work period, work time, 8-hour work, right? I'm not supposed to engage in union activities. Just after my work, I engage in union activities and my free times and organize certain things. Some employers, then if my employer may take certain action against me because of my union involvement. Right. Those are called any action taken by the employer against the union, the involvement or, the union engagement of a worker is called, right, the unfair labor practices. So I should have the right as a worker. I should enjoy, I shall enjoy, I should enjoy adequate protection against acts of anti-union discrimination, against the acts of my employer, against acts of my employer on me because of my union involvement. So adequate protection. So do you think that, do we have such kind of protection? Do we have such kind of protection? What do you think? Sorry, I have muted. So anti-union discrimination. Union discrimination. Anti means erehiva. Right? Union ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලට එරෙහිව හාම්පුතා විසින් ගනු ලබන විවිධ, for example, right, transfer, not giving overtime, not giving other benefits. Those are acts of anti-union discrimination. So government should protect the workers from acts of anti-union discrimination. We have, right, we studied this. Do you remember? Industrial Dispute Act. Under the Industrial Dispute Act, amended Act number 56 of 1999. We brought provisions to address this one because of this convention. We have ratified this convention, then we are supposed to adhere to the provisions of the convention. Therefore, we didn't have law to protect the workers from acts of anti-union discrimination. That is why in 1999, we amended the Industrial Dispute Act. It is called Asadharana Kamkaru Pilivet, unfair labor practices. Exactly similar to this one. So we have legal provisions. If employers did anything, right, against anything, something like, anti-union discrimination, then such employer can be taken to court. Okay, right. Such protections shall apply more particularly in respect of acts calculated. So we don't need to write all these things. Next para, Sri Lanka, the government of Sri Lanka. Next para, the government of Sri Lanka. Amended Industrial Dispute Act. Within bracket, number 56 of 1999. Number 56 of 1999. Close the bracket. To address this issue. There are plenty, but I'm not discussing, right, all these things. Now, I'm moving to next subtopic, national standards. National standards with regard to trade union rights. National standards with regard to trade union rights. National standards with regard to trade union rights. So, ladies and gentlemen, number one, very important, is the 1978 Constitution of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Article 14(1)(d). It says, right to form and join trade union. Workers have right to form and join trade unions. Who says? Hey, you have to answer, right? Who says? The Constitution. Right? What is the supreme law in any country? What is the supreme law in any country?
Constitution.
Sorry?
Constitution.
Yes. in any country, supreme law is its constitution. Rajya Vyavastha. That is the supreme law, not international law, whatever it is. National constitution is the number one. So our constitution itself has guaranteed right to form and join trade union. Okay. So Article 12, 14(1)(a), B, and C talks about other fundamental rights. And the Constitution, the Article 15 of the Constitution talks about limitations. And then we have Trade Union Ordinance number 14 of 1935 as national standards with regard to trade unions or freedom of association. And then we have Industrial Dispute Amendment Act number 56 of 1999, right to form and right to form trade unions and engage in trade union activities, right? So this is, something from semi-government. We don't need this one. Sorry. Oh, sorry. What happened? Activities. Okay. Right. So, national standards. Subtopic, national standards with regard to trade union rights. National standards with regard to trade union rights. Number one. Number one. (1978) Constitution. 1978 Constitution of the Democratic Socialist, Sri Lanka Prajatantrika Samajwadi, yes, the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Republic of Sri Lanka. Janaraja Republic of Sri Lanka. Put a dash. Dash එකක් දාලා. Article 14 within bracket 1, again within bracket D, again within bracket D, again put a dash. What it says? Right to form and join trade unions. Right to form and join trade unions. Right to form and join trade unions. Number two. Trade Union Ordinance. Trade Union Ordinance number 14 of 1935. Number 14 of 1935. Right. Next. Number two, no, previous one, number two, Trade Union Ordinance number 14 of 1935 is number two. Number three. industrial dispute within bracket amendment, industrial dispute within bracket amendment, act number 56 of 1999. 1999. Put a dash. Right to form and right to form trade unions and engage in trade union activities. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this will give you some kind of, the clear picture, right? Clear picture. Look at this. So look, I think it is visible. Right. This is the journey, right? 1978 Constitution, Article 14(1)(d), and here 1999 Industrial Dispute Amendment Act number 56 of 1999, the denial of trade union rights, right, by employers. It is called unfair labor practices. It is a criminal offense. Fine, right? Increase in 2011 up to 100,000 rupees and imprisonment. So now you can imagine how, Sri Lanka has the government of Sri Lanka has taken steps to protect the trade union right. So you take your own note. This is important, right? I can't explain. I can't read this. No. Is it visible? Is it visible? Make a pain on
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
take your own note. Right to form a trade union. So starting from 1978 up to 1999. Right. Take your note. Make a මේ විදියටම ලියාගන්න. Did you finish? Hello?
Give me 1 second,
Okay,
sir.
okay, right. Have you done? Is it finished now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now we are moving to the trade union ordinance, right? Next subtopic is trade union ordinance number 14 of 1935. Ladies and gentlemen, the objective of, this was enacted in 1935. That is why it is called ordinance. But any ordinance after independence, if it is amended, then it is called amended act. Right? But original is remaining as the ordinance, original one. Right? So objective of this ordinance is to, provide for the registration and control of trade union. Registration of trade union and control of trade union. These are the two objectives of this ordinance. Okay, right. Next subtopic under this one, objective of the ordinance. Objective of the ordinance. Right. Objective of the ordinance. Put a dash. The objective of this ordinance is to. The objective of this ordinance is to. The objective of this ordinance is to provide for the registration and control of trade unions. Control of trade unions. Next para. According to this ordinance. Accordingly, this ordinance acknowledges පිළිගන්නවා acknowledges trade unions as lawful නිත්‍යානුකූල භාවයක් සහිත lawful associations comma thereby ඒ අනුව providing the due recognition පිළිගැනීමක් දෙනවා due recognition full stop. It means trade union ordinance. It makes necessary venues available to maintain and control trade unions. The ordinance, next para, the ordinance imposes බලාත්මක කරනවා imposes restrictive conditions established OVERO මත කියන එක industries while establishing and securing industrial peace. These are the broader objectives. While establishing and securing industrial peace. We discuss all these things under the objective. Okay? Main objective we said with one sentence and then, somewhat, the elaborated. Is it clear? Dilini, Jayasekara, Jaya. Okay. Kavisha.
Yes, sir, clear.
Kavisha.
Yes, sir.
Right. Amanda. No voice, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what do we mean by trade union? Trade union means any association or combination of workmen or employers, whether permanent or temporary, having among its object one or more of the following objects. Right? One or more of the following objects. There are a couple of objectives. Right. So next subtopic, what is a trade union? What is a trade union? Trade union එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Right. ladies and gentlemen, as per the provisions of the trade union ordinance, trade union means any association or combination, ekatuwa, of workmen or employers, ආම්පුතුන්ගේ hari, සේවකයන්ගේ hari, whether permanent or temporary. Temporary workers la hari, permanent hari, having among its object, ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අරමුණු මත පදනම, right? Objects, having among its object one or more of the following objects. පහත දැක්වෙන ඒවායින් එකක් හෝ වැඩි ගණනක් අරමුණු කරගෙන පිහිටුවලා තියෙන සේවකයන්ගේ හරි ආම්පුතුන්ගේ හරි එකතුවක්. Right? Right. What is a trade union? Right. As per the provision, take your note, as per the provision, as per the provision of the trade union ordinance, trade union means trade union එකක් යනුවෙන් අදහස් කරන්නේ, trade union means any association, සංගමයක්, ORO, combination of workmen, සේවකයන්ගේ එකමුතුවක්, combination of workmen or employers, සේවකයන්ගේ හෝ ආම්පුතුන්ගේ එකමුතුවක්, of employers, workmen or employers, combination of workmen or employers, whether permanent or temporary. ඒ සේවකයෝ හරි කවුරු හරි permanent උනත් එකයි, temporary worker උනත් එකයි. Temporary. Having among its object objects, full stop, having among one or more objects, having among its one or more objects, full stop. Such objects, aramono, such objects are as follows. ඒවා පහත විදිහට දක්වන්න පුළුවන්. මම කඩලා දුන්නේ, right? නැත්තම් තේරෙන්නේ නැති හින්දා. Sub objects are as follows. Simple A, නැත්තම් number 1. Simple A, put simple A. The regulation of relations between workmen and employers, ORO, between workmen and workmen, සේවකයෝ අතර, ORO. Between employers and employers. The regulation of relations. සම්බන්ධතාවය regularize කරන්න, නියාමනය කරන්න. කවුරු අතද? සේවකයෝ හාම්පුතුන් අතර. සේවකයෝ අතර. හාම්පුතුන් අතර. Right. සම්බන්ධතාවය නියාමනය කිරීම කියන එක කර්මුණා. Right. Number 2 or simple B. Simple B. The imposition of, sorry, I made a mistake. Imposing of, no need the, imposing of. We don't need the, right? Imposing of. Restrictive conditions on the conduct of any trade or business. OR. Simple C. Next objective. The representation of නියෝජනය කිරීම, the representation of either workman, the representation of either workman or employers in trade disputes කාර්මික ආරවුල් සම්බන්ධයෙන් සේවකයන් හෝ හාම්පුතුන් නියෝජනය කිරීම වෘත්තීය සමිතියක කර්මුණක්. Right. The වෘත්තීය සමිති කිව්වහම when you heard about the trade union, you feel that it is only for workers. No. Employers also have their trade union. Employers can get together and form a trade union. It is employer trade union. But, in practice, when we say trade union, always it is, we just, talk about workers union. But employers union also, we have employers union, registered one. One is the Employer Federation of Ceylon. The next one is only two we have. Registered one, the FTZ name, Pre-Trade Zone Manufacturers Association. These are the employers, two employers trade union registered with the Department of Labor. Remember that when you say trade union, it may be a worker trade union, workers trade union, no employers trade union. Okay, right. Number C, the representation of either workmen or employers in trade disputes or industrial disputes. Simple D. Simple D. The promotion O, these are objectives of trade union, right? The promotion or organization, ප්‍රවර්ධනය කිරීම, organization, සංවිධානය කිරීම, or financing, मूल्यकरणे किरीम. Financing of strikes, or lookouts. Strikes are undertaken by the workers. Lookouts are implemented by the employers, right? It will come, you will know it later. Strikes or lookouts in any trade or industry. In any trade or industry, or the provision of pay, ORO, other benefits, for its members. During a strike or lockout. During a strike or lockout. And includes any federation of two or more trade unions. Right. Next para. The above A to D, A සිට D දක්වා are the objectives of trade union. Right. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we
Excuse
will
me,
look at, yes,
what did you say? The above A to D are the objectives
of trade union, of a trade union. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Objectives. You have to remember this. At least 3. Because there is a question. What are the objectives of trade union? Objectives of a trade union, right? So highlight. What are the objectives of trade union, of a trade union? Right? There are 4. You have to remember, but you don't need to use all, these words, exactly these words. You can use your own word, but idea is important, right? Idea is important. Okay, next one, registration of trade unions. Right. Registration of trade unions. So why is it? Why is it required? I mean, is it required to register a trade union? Is there a requirement to register a trade union? What do you think? Is it required to register a trade union?
Yes, to make it legalized. Go get the
Yes, if you do not register it, there is no legal status. There is no recognition for trade union. You can have a trade union, you can protest, but wherever you go, at the international level or national level, you are not recognized as trade union because you have not registered with the Department of Labor. So in order to obtain the recognition, right, union has to be registered with the Department of Labor. Okay? Do you understand? Right. So according to section 8.2 of this trade union, every trade union shall apply, right, Form B to be registered under the ordinance with a period of 3 months, reckoned from the date of establishment. යම්කිසි යූනියන් එකක් පිහිටුවීමට මහ සභාවේ තීරණය ගත්ත දවසේ ඉඳලා මහ සභාව රැස් කරලා යූනියන් එකක් හැටියට පිහිටුවන මාස 3ක් ඇතුළත it has to be registered. If 3 months if it expires 3 months, then you have to have another annual general meeting, and every application for registration shall be signed by at least 7 members of the union. It means that in order to establish a trade union, 7 members are sufficient. union If the registration is satisfied that a trade union applying for registration has compiled with the requirements, shall register the trade union. Requirements මේවා කරනවා නම් trade union එකක් හැටියට register කරන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. Subtopic: registration of trade unions. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we discuss these things, I would like to have a break of 15 minutes. Now 9:15 up to 9:30 you will be having a break. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, sir.
9:30 yeah, right. Okay, let's start. I hope you are ready. Registration of trade union. In order to recognize legally, that is the requirement of registration of a trade union. Registration is must. Otherwise, it is not recognized legally. Registration with whom? Where do you need to register as trade union? Yamunu?
Sir,
Where is the, yes? Where is the place that you have to register the trade union? Hello? Registration of trade union? Where is the place to register? Yamunu, I'm asking you. Not response. Dinesh? Kavisha?
The labor
Yes,
department.
Dinesh. Yes, none other than, there is a trade union branch of the labor department. We call it Registrar of Trade Union. Registrar of Trade Union. The Assistant Commissioner is the Registrar of Trade Union of the Trade Union branch of the Labor Department of Labor. Okay, even the public sector trade union, right? They have to register with the trade union registrar. That means the Assistant Commissioner of Trade Union branch of the Department of Labor. Commissioner General has delegated his power to the Assistant Commissioner. Okay, he or she is the Registrar of Trade Union. Right. Registration of trade unions. First para. Every trade union shall apply within bracket Form B. Form B. B Akruti Patre. It is there in the website, Labor Department website. Form B. Close the bracket. To be registered. To be registered under the ordinance within under the ordinance, every trade union shall apply within bracket Form B, close the bracket, to be registered under the ordinance within a period of 3 months. Three months, reckoned, RECKONED, ගණන් කරන ලද. Reckoned, ගණන් කරන ලද. කවද ඉඳලාද? From the date of establishment. From the date of establishment of the trade union. From the date of establishment of trade union. Full stop. Registration should be done by the registrar of trade union. The registrar of trade union. Within bracket, assistant commissioner of trade union. Assistant commissioner of trade union within bracket. Assistant commissioner of trade union within bracket, right? Trade union must be done by the registrar of trade union within bracket, assistant commissioner of trade union, close the bracket, of the Department of Labor. Of the Department of Labor. Next para. Every application, next para, every application for registration shall be signed by at least 7 members of the trade union, of the union. Full stop. This means that seven members is sufficient. 7 members is sufficient to establish a trade union. Right. Due to this very low number of members, due to this very low number of members required to establish a trade a trade union, comma, there are multiplicity of trade unions. There are multiplicity of trade unions in Sri Lanka. Within bracket, in Sri Lanka, within bracket, more than 1,900. More than 1,900. 1920 ගණනක් තියෙනවා. More than 1,900. Why? Because in order to establish a trade union, you need only 7 members, right? At a workplace. Do you understand? Dilini, what about you? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. Satish. Sitmi.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, right. Next para. If the registrar of trade union, if the registrar of trade union, if the registrar of trade union, that means the assistant commissioner of the trade union branch, if the registrar of trade union is satisfied that a trade union applying for registration applied for registration has complied අනුකූල වෙලා තියෙනවා complied with if the registrar is satisfied that a trade union applying for registration has complied with the requirement, සියලු අවශ්‍යතාව සම්පූර්ණ කරන තියෙනවයි කියලා trade union registrar ට තහවුරු වෙනවා නම් එයා it's okay නම් satisfied නම් shall register එයා register කරනවා shall register the trade union Next para. Next para. The registrar on the registering a trade union,
Sir, we can't hear your voice.
the registrar, on registering a trade union, again, shall issue. Register කරලා මොකද කරන්න ඕන? Shall issue a certificate of registration. A certificate of registration. Within bracket, Form D. Form D. Full stop. Once it is registered, it becomes a recognized union. It becomes a registered union. Registered union. Comma, legally recognized. Comma, legally recognized. And members can enjoy, members can enjoy the privileges. The privileges. Next para. Next para. To be registered, right? ලියාපදිංචි කිරීමට, to be registered, comma, the trade union must fulfill. The trade union must fulfill the following requirements. The following requirements. Register කරන්න නම් මෙන්න මේ requirement සපුරන්න ඕන. fulfill the following requirement. What are those requirements? Number 1, should have at least 7 members. Number 2, the application must be signed by 7 members. Number 3, the object, rules and regulation of the union must not conflict with any of the provisions of the trade union ordinance and should not be unlawful. කිසිදු රෙගුලාසියක් වගන්තියක් constitution එකේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ තියෙනවා trade union ordinance එකේ තියෙන ප්‍රතිපාදන violate කරන්න බෑ. ඒකේ තියෙන ප්‍රතිපාදන වලට අනනුකූල වෙන්න බෑ. The name of the trade union should not be identical, right, with any of the existing trade union. ඒ කියන්නේ trade union ට දාන නාම දැනට ලියාපදිංචි වෙලා තියෙන trade union නම් වලට කිසිසේත්ම සමාන වෙන්න බෑ. Right? සමාන වුණොත් කියනවා මේ නමට ලියාපදිංචි වෙලා තියෙනවා you know, by this name there is another trade union registered, so you change the name. That is the duty of the registrar. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Number 1, should have at least 7 members. Should have at least 7 members. Should have at least 7 members. Number 2, the application must be signed by 7 members. Sabapati Bandagarika Upalekam office bearers. Signed by 7 members. Number 3. Number 3. The objects, comma, rules and the objects, comma, rules and regulations of the union must not conflict with any of the provisions of trade union ordinance and union ordinance and should not be unlawful අනීතික නොවිය යුතුයි. නීත්‍යානුකූල වෙන්න ඕන. unlawful අනීතික. Number 4. Number 4. The name of the trade union should not be identical සමාන නොවිය යුතුයි. identical with any of the existing trade union. So, okay, right. Now, if there is, the unlawful or, not according to the standard, even, later, even, even though union is registered, later it can be cancelled, right? It can be cancelled. Registration can be cancelled, or it can be withdrawn by the trade union or cancellation by the Department of Labor. Consequences of failure to register or of withdrawal or cancellation of registration. Unlawful association. How? The consequences of failure to register. What are the consequences of failure to register or withdrawal or cancellation of registration? වෘත්තීය සමිතියක්, right? ලියාපදිංචි කරන්න බැරි වුණොත්. ඒ වගේම ලියාපදිංචිය withdraw කරගත්තොත්. ඒ වගේම ලියාපදිංචිය cancel කරොත්. සිදුවේ හැකි consequences ප්‍රතිවිපාක මොනවාද? ඵල විපාක. Number 1. Unlawful association and shall cease to enjoy any of the rights, immunities or privileges of a registered trade union. එයාට privileges නැහැ. එහෙම trade union එකකට. Right. Immunities නැහැ. Privileges and immunities. ඒකට කියනවා immunities. අපි කියන්නේ diplomatic immunities. රාජතාන්ත්‍රික මුක්තිය. ඒ වගේ රාජතාන්ත්‍රික නෙවෙයි මෙතන immunities කියන්නේ මුක්තිය. Privileges වරප්‍රසාද. ඒව නැතුව යනවා. The trade union shall not take part in a trade dispute to promote, organize or finance any strike or lockout. The trade union shall be dissolved. No person shall take any part in its management. These are the consequences of failure to register or withdrawal of registration or cancellation of registration. Do you understand? If not, tell me. I will explain once again before you take note. Do you understand? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Right. Satish.
Yes, sir.
Right. Delwala Saranasiri. Premalal? No, they have gone maybe log, but
Understood.
okay, okay. Okay, right, good. Next subtopic, consequences of failure to register. Failure to register or ORO of withdrawal ORO cancellation of registration, cancellation of registration of a trade union, cancellation of a registration of a trade union. Number one, consequences of failure to register or of withdrawal or cancellation of registration of a trade union. These are the consequences, right? Register කරන්න බැරි වුණා. කරපු register එකක් withdraw කරගත්තොත් සහ කරපු register එක දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින් cancel කරොත් ඇති විය හැකි ප්‍රතිවිපාක ඵල විපාක consequences, right? මොනවද? Number one, unlawful association. Sorry, number one, the trade union becomes unlawful association. The trade union becomes unlawful association and shall cease to cease නැති කරලා දානවා. cease කරනවා කියන්නේ shall cease to enjoy any of the rights, I think, immunities, muktin, immunities, privileges of a registered trade union. Number two, the trade union shall not take part. The trade union shall not take part in trade dispute, ORO, promote, comma, organize, ORO, finance, any strike or lockout. Lockout, දොරගුළු ලෑම්, දොර වැසීම්. ස්ට්‍රයික් කරන්නේ සේවකයෝ. ලොකවුට් කරන්නේ හාම්පුතා. Lockout means when you go to work, the employer has closed the door. You you have blocked. You will be blocked. Enter into work premises. That is what we mean lockout. The strike is undertaken by the workers. Lockouts, දොරගුළු ලෑම්, දොර වැසුම්, සිංහලෙන් අපි කියනවා. It is done by the employer. Okay? It is not about closing down the business. Lockout and closing down business are two different things. Say, for example, some workers, group of workers, may not adhere to the rules and regulations of the organization. They may went on a strike. And again, when they want to come to work, employer does not allow to enter into premises. Right? It is the temporary reaction, action or reaction, temporary. It is done by the employer. Okay, right. Number 3, the trade union shall be dissolved. The trade union shall be dissolved. The trade union shall be dissolved. Number 4. Number 4. No person shall take any part in its management. Right? Next, para, not para, put a star mark, right? Star mark. This is something else, but we don't need to write what you call separate subtopic. It's a special one. It is like this, put a star mark, very special star mark. A trade union shall not enjoy. A trade union shall not enjoy. Shall not enjoy any of the rights. Any of the rights. Comma. Immunities. A trade union shall not enjoy any of the rights, comma, immunities, comma, immunities, mukti, immunities, comma, immunities or privileges of a registered trade union until through it is registered. Next, star mark. These are special things. You know, section 26 of the trade union says, no action or other legal proceedings shall be maintainable in any civil court against any registered trade union or any officer or member thereof in respect of any act done in contemplation or in furtherance of a trade dispute to which a member of a trade union is a party on the ground only that such act induces some other person to break a contract of employment, or that it is in interference with the trade, business, or employment of some other person, or with the right of some other person to dispose of his capital or his labor as he wills. In simple way, if as a trade union leader or trade union member, if you have undertaken any acts, kriya karakama, in order to, right, the contemplation, or in order to furtherance or, expand the trade union activities, or to get the support from others for the trade disputes, whatever you did legally, the other party cannot go to court and take legal action against you. It means you have right as a trade union member or a leader, right, to expand your members and, ask the support from the other people for the strike or whatever it is, right? So for those activities cannot be restricted by taking legal action against you. Is it clear or not?
Sir, can you explain in Sinhala only this paragraph?
හරි. මම සිංහලෙන් කියන. දැන් ට්‍රේඩ් යූනියන් එකක් ලියාපදිංචි කරාම ඒකේ ඉන්න සමාජිකයෝ, ඔෆිස් බෙයාරස්ලා, ඒ කියන්නේ විධායක සභාව හරි කවුරු හරි, ඒගොල්ලෝ දැනටමත් යම්කිසි ස්ට්‍රයික් එක හරි ට්‍රේඩ් ඇක්ෂන් එකක ඉන්නව නම් ඒ සඳහා අනිත් අය පොළඹවා ගැනීම සඳහා, right, අනිත් අය ඒකට ආකර්ෂණය කර ගැනීම සඳහා කරනු ලබන නීත්‍යානුකූල වන කිසිදු ක්‍රියාවකට එරෙහිව සිවිල් අධිකරණයකට ගිහිල්ලා ඒ ක්‍රියාව වළක්වන්න බෑ. පැහැදිලිද?
Oh, sir.
හරි. Not feeling well, right? මේක ඔබ ලියා ගන්න උමනයි. වමනත් නෑ, right? අපි බලමු let මෙහෙම කියමු අපි, right? next star mark එකක් දාලා ලියන්න. No legal action shall be taken shall be taken in any civil court against any trade unions, against any registered trade union, against any registered trade union, for the action taken by taken by such trade union in order to expand their trade union activities. Is it clear now? Simple way, right? I have just put it in simple language. Okay?
Yes, sir, clear.
Right. Next, rights and sorry. Yeah. Next bullet form or star mark. Next star mark. Every trade union shall be liable. Every trade union shall be liable. Shall be liable. On any contract stop for a while. You know, I asked you to put the star mark, right? How many star marks now? 3 or 2?
Now is 3, sir.
Right? Before the first star mark, you can put this title, right? What is that? Rights and liabilities of a trade union. Rights and liabilities. These are actually rights and liabilities of trade unions. Right? Before the first star mark, right? Rights and liabilities of trade union, of a trade union. First, second, now number 3. Third, every trade union shall be liable. This is liability, right? On any contract entered into by it or ඒක විසින් or by an agent, ඒජන්තවරයෙක් acting ක්‍රියාත්මක වන, acting on its behalf, වෘත්තීය සමිතිය වෙනුවෙන් ක්‍රියාත්මක වන, ඒක බලය දීපු ඒජන්තවරයෙක් කරන වැඩකට මොකද වෙන්නේ? any contract එකකට enter වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒකට liable වෙනවා union එක. liability එක. වගකීමකට බැඳෙනවා. Right. Next is star mark. provided that a trade union shall not be so liable on any contract which is void, walangu නැති, void, walangu nevana, or unenforceable, impose කරන්න, බලාත්මක කරන්න බැරි, unenforceable act law, unenforceable act law. Give me 1 minute. Okay. There are some other, rights and liabilities as well, according to section 9 of this trade union ordinance. It says the objects of a registered trade union shall not aramunu noviya yutui, by reason only that they are in restraint of trade be deemed to be unlawful, so as to render any member of such trade union liable to criminal prosecution, right, or conspiracy, or otherwise, or to render void or voidable any agreement or trust. Making kiyannet palawen kiyapu karane wagema tamai. So you don't need to, write all these things. The next one I'm going to talk about the proceedings by and against trade unions. Proceedings. A registered trade union may sue and be sued and be prosecuted under its registered name. Proceedings by and against trade union. Trade union එක යම් කිසි මොකක් හරි වැරද්දක් කෙරුවා. ඒගොල්ලොටත් එරෙහිව නීත්‍යානුකූලව ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? මොනවද එහෙම ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා? එක. A registered trade union may sue and be sued and be prosecuted under its registered name. ඒ කියන්නේ union එකේ ලියාපදිංචි නමින් තමයි එයාලට විරුද්ධව ඇක්ෂන් ගන්නේ. Number 2, an unregistered trade union may be sued and prosecuted under the name by which it has been operating or is generally known. ලියාපදිංචි නොකරපු වෘත්තීය සමිතියක් නම් ඒක දැනට ක්‍රියාත්මක වන භාවිතයේ තියෙන නමට එරෙහිව නමට තමයි නීත්‍යානුකූලව නඩු දාන්න නඩු පවරන්න ඕන මොනවා හරි ගැළඩුවක් වෙනවා නම්. දැන් හිතන්නකෝ රෙජිස්ටර් වෙලා නැහැ. There's a trade union operating in in business operating, and they are undertaking a lot of activities, but it has not been registered. And there is office, right? Say, for example, a couple of people are working in the office. The trade union must pay EPF for the office workers. If they have recruited workers and they are working in the office, so trade union is compelled, and it is responsibility of the trade union to pay EPF, for example. If they do not, or if they default, or if they do not pay EPF, the Labor Department will take action against the name of the trade union, whether it is registered or not. Is it clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Right. So, the number two, an unregistered, yes. Number three, a trade union whose registration has been cancelled or withdrawn. Okay, next subtopic, proceedings by and against. Proceedings by and against trade unions. වශන් බලක් වෙලගෙන පල දැන් තමයි එන්න
Sir, you are muted.
proceedings by and against trade unions. So you take you or not. These are the, okay, let me make it zoom. Yeah. So Once you finish, please let me know. The easy way to get a, if you have a smartphone, if you have, get a photo, a picture, and then you can, prepare on your note later. Even this is uploaded, no, everything will be uploaded, but in case if you miss, it's better to take note. Have you done? Not yet.
Not yet, sir.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead. If you have finished, please let me know. අන්තිම එක මම සිංහලෙන් කියන්නම් ඒක තේරෙන්නේ නැද්ද? ඒකේ තේරුම තමයි යම්කිසි වන්දියක් මොනවා හරි අය කරගන්න තියෙනවා නම් right civil proceedings වලදී order එකක් issue කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒ trade union වල තියෙන trust එකෙන්. නැත්නම් fund එකක් තියෙනවනේ. registered trade union නමින් තියෙන මොන හරි fund එකකින් හරි property වලින් ගෙවන්න කියලා order එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. කයි කියන්නේ? How many minutes do you need? I think Noah, you are at the last stage right now. Finished or not?
Finish, sir.
Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Finish.
sir. Finish.
Okay, then I'm going to stop for the day. We have another 20 minutes. If you have any question, please raise. Right? We have to, from next day onwards, definitely next day this presentation will finish. We will finish this one. We have another couple of slides to be discussed, and then we will move to some other gratuity act, EPF, ETF. We have to discuss a certain other, right? Lasant, I'm coming. Hello. Any question? Is it clear? Everything?
Yes, sir, clear.
Right. So then, good night for everyone. I'm stopping right now. Okay. Good night for everyone.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you,
Good
sir. Good
night.
night.
Thank you.
Right, sir.